Hello, I am Elisa Palomino. I'm a research associate at the Smithsonian Institution Arctic Studies Center, part of the National Museum of Natural History. I have a background as a fashion designer, working for luxury fashion for over 25 years. Then I went into higher education, teaching fashion at University of the Arts, London, Central St. Martin's. And then I studied my PhD studies at London College of Fashion, where I developed a thesis on Indigenous Arctic fish skin heritage. My previous posts as a tenure lecturer at Central St. Martin's have always been added with different other pre-doc and postdoc positions. I was awarded a Fulbright UK-US grant to work at the Arctic Studies Center in 2019 and 20. Also a Kluge Fellowship at the Library of Congress that I finished last February 2023. And I'm currently a postdoc at the Max Planck Institute for the History of Science in Berlin. I'm really excited for my next postdoc, which is going to take in Istanbul, and it's a dual postdoc between the Max Planck Institute in Florence and the Center for Anatolian Civilizations, ANAMED, in Istanbul. As I mentioned before, the title of my project is Fish Demigods in the Aquatic Landscapes of Ancient Anatolian Civilizations. Since prehistoric times, the fish has been a symbol of the religions, the myths, and the legends of mankind. If we trace back to Anatolian civilizations, they were intimately linked to the aquatic elements and the divine powers held by fish. The Apkallu, who were a part man and part fish priest, they were represented in the clay tablets of ancient Mesopotamia, and they used to wear these cloaks of massive fish skin that they would wear over their bodies. You could still see their face and you could still see their bodies. And this has been depicted since the Bronze Age. Those priests were the intermediary between gods and men. There is no archaeological evidence that real fish garment existed in Mesopotamia, but their depiction could have some real basis for inspiration for these tablets and sculptures. Building upon my previous PhD research on Arctic indigenous fish skin traditions that have been studying all across the Arctic, starting from Iceland, across the Scandinavian countries, Siberia, Northeast China, Hokkaido in Japan, and also Alaska, and where I've been working with different Arctic indigenous peoples and the traditions that they had for millennia as well, where they were fishing for subsistence, mainly salmon, but then they were using these salmon skins to create garments and to create accessories. So I will be connecting the Mesopotamian Apkallu demigods with all the different deities in these Arctic countries and the fact that they were dressing themselves with fish skin coats. We can still find these clothing and accessories in the museums, but again, there's no archaeological record of them. And this is basically because fish skin is a material which is highly perishable because of the way it has been tanned, which most of the time is mechanically. So I'll be connecting the Apkallu from Mesopotamia with the Arctic, Nordic, indigenous fish skin religions, and how these traditions and the divine powers that fish was meant to have from all these different indigenous populations. This project aims to research the interaction between humans and fish in both ancient Mesopotamia and in Arctic societies. Both cultures believe that humans, animals, and nature share spiritual qualities. The project aims to compare the subsistent and the spiritual fish skin practices of Arctic indigenous peoples and compare them with Mesopotamian fishman mythology, and hopefully provide a human-animal interaction where gods were the personification of the elements of natural forces. A study of material culture will be undertaken through an analysis of the historical origins of the fishman gods, their spirituality, and their connections with nature, tracing back to the first Sumerians and then comparing them with the fishing traditions of all these different indigenous peoples from the Arctic, examining their aesthetics, the cultural, environmental, social, spiritual, and technological significance.